Hello, everybody. It is RambleCast time. Wednesday,
Hello.
April 28th, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bunch of numbers. For some reason,
Yeah.
they're in an order, too. So, yeah. It's... Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna complain about my lighting because it's awful for some reason. I need different lights.
Yeah, actually, I think your camera is actually giving me pretty low resolution, too. Which, fortunately, by the time it's all shrunk down in the stream, I don't know how noticeable that is, but...
Yeah. I'm sure that's Linux doing that.
Yeah. Linux. The operating system of low resolutions.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Maybe my lighting will be better in a little bit. I'm supposed to get a standing desk from Aki
Ooh.
sometime soon. So maybe with that I can more easily make better lighting. Like I can have. Well, first I'll be closer to this lamp up here. But also I could set up more stuff that's a little bit difficult or maybe not worth it to do right here.
You're right. You know, upon thought, I wonder, I'm not sure what company it was now, I don't remember, but we did have a conversation about having a standing desk, not review, but like a hands-on at AP, and then...
Touch the desk.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Touch the desk.
Yeah, we had a conversation about that, and then it kind of got shot down as well, we don't really know how we attach that to Android, so never mind. I don't remember if it was Aki or somebody else who was going to send that, but I did volunteer to do it, and then it's like, yeah, we're just not going to do it. Never mind. Has a way of happening.
Yeah. Well, they reached out to one of the other editors at XDA, and they were like, "Oh, I don't have room for this because it's furniture."
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I guess if I get it and they don't ask for it back, maybe I'll make the standing desk the work desk, and then put this one I have here like somewhere else, and then I have just like my laptop or something on the standing desk. And I keep the gaming PC with the sitting desk, and this just becomes the chill relaxation
Kind of makes
computer
sense.
space. because I do have this issue where like I've tried to separate the work from everything else, just for mental health purposes. Like there's no right now there's no electronics in my bedroom at all except like my Nook. Like I don't even keep my phone in there anymore. So like all
Weird.
the office stuff is in this little area that's supposed to be like the kitchen table area. But of course, I still have this issue where half the games I would like to play are on the same thing as my work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, wow, okay, I've worked really hard at this desk for like 6 hours. All right, time to not move and just open the game and continue.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the thing is, I remember I kind of tried to do that one time. Oh, how many years ago was that? Wait, long enough that I couldn't tell you. But I did once try to do the whole like separate workroom and everything else kind of space.
yeah.
And it was an utter failure. In part for the reason you just described. In part because I couldn't shake the whole logic of I'd rather spend a whole lot more money on a particular thing that I'm going to use in all of these places.
Yeah.
And like once you do that with like 3 or 4 things, you've completely lost the thread. There's just no such thing as separating them anymore. So you just kind of give in and it's like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. That was one thing I kind of thought about doing originally when I moved was I would have like a separate work computer that would just be like, some cheapo, tiny desktop that could not play games whatsoever. And I would have all the work stuff on there, and then the gaming stuff would be somewhere else. But that didn't turn out to happen. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I
I could
assume
always-
it rarely does.
Yeah, I mean, like I could, like if I get the standing desk, I could just keep the ultra wide on that and like plug my laptop into it. So I don't know. We'll see. A lot of options. Assuming I get it,
Yeah.
shipping being what it is, maybe it'll come here and it'll be in 3 pieces, or maybe it won't. Maybe the desk won't work at all.
Well, let's hope it
We'll see.
works.
Yeah, that's kind of a requirement for me to do a review.
A little bit,
Has to
yeah.
work. Yeah. Unless it's for a OnePlus phone, because those are just broken every year. But
Oof.
yeah,
Harsh. Coming down hard
I
on
did-
OnePlus.
yeah, I did finish my. I'll put this in your Discord as soon as I find it in this long list. There it is. I did a OnePlus 9 versus Galaxy S21 comparison, and this was my first time playing with the camera on OnePlus phones in a while, and OnePlus's camera is like almost better than Samsung's. I feel like it's
Interesting.
almost there. So when I took a lot of pictures. I don't think I took any video. I would still need to check out the video performance. But when I was taking photos with both the phones, I really preferred the color and lighting on the OnePlus phone, because it didn't really do anything to that. Like Samsung, it blows out the color, especially in like greens and stuff. Like when you take a picture of trees or green grass with a Samsung phone, it's just like neon, like razor green.
Right.
It's a little bit intense. But OnePlus doesn't really do that. And they also keep the lighting more realistic. So I like the more realistic tone of the OnePlus cameras. But then when I zoom in, I still get the wonderful like watercolor painting effect that OnePlus was having a lot of trouble with years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still here a little bit. It's you can only really see it when you zoom in, like all the way.
Yeah, it
And
never
that's
really
where-
changed.
Yeah, like I have a picture in here that I zoomed in, um, almost as far as it would, or I cropped, not zoomed, and the Samsung photo, it kind of just looks like a digital camera photo from like 5 years ago. Like there's not really any fine detail, but you can tell what it is. It looks real enough. But
Mhm.
the OnePlus 9 is just like super contrasty. Kind of gross. Also, the S21 has the actual zoom lens on it, and the base OnePlus 9 does not. So one of those phones is good for taking zoom photos, and the other is not.
Hey, real-time update. A not DMCA, but a copyright claim has been released on one of my previous videos. Yay! I showed that I didn't even really show. I opened up the trailer for Mortal Kombat during one of my previous streams. No audio, just the video. And I was talking about like I think I was talking about the how gory it was supposed to be, and I just kind of skimmed the trailer looking for shots. Anyway, yeah, it got picked up by their content ID system, and so I disputed it. It's taken almost a week, but Warner Brothers just was just like, yeah, cool, whatever. we don't want you. You're not our target. Honestly,
Yeah,
I'm surprised. I thought they were just going to hold on to for the full 30 days and then just let it elapse, and then the copyright dispute would go through, but hey.
So was it like the video was taken down, or just they were getting the revenue?
If there had been revenue, they would have been getting it.
Okay.
Or wait, actually,
No, YouTube does do that now, where they'll run ads on videos that aren't monetized.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And so,
Though now that I think about it, because they do, I believe, have another option, which is just declaring a video can't be monetized, and that might have been what they did with it.
mm-hmm.
So I'm not quite sure.
Maybe.
Either way, it doesn't matter. If you're not making money off the videos, they're not getting any.
Yeah, I'll never understand the companies that do copyright claims on like promotional material.
Yeah, I mean,
like it's like it is free advertising.
Exactly.
For them.
Now,
And-
there are exceptions. I mean, if somebody, I know that this isn't necessarily the ethical example of an exception, but let's be honest, it's realistic. If somebody takes your stuff and mocks it heavily and like hates on you, then I can kind of see why the company might just pull the, you know what, we're just gonna claim you, and that way kind of screw with you like you're screwing with us. I could see a company doing that. That makes sense.
Oh, companies do that all the time.
Oh God, they really do.
There's so much abuse on the system.
In a little bit, I might actually be giving Samsung a reason to do it to me, but but we'll see. But yeah, companies are weirdly petty.
Companies are extremely petty.
Companies are petty. Maybe that should be the episode title. But yeah, no, there was oh damn, I lost my thought. There was something I was gonna say. I think there was something you were about to say too, but
no, I was just talking about OnePlus phones, and I haven't used the OnePlus 9 long enough to test this for myself, but I'm still seeing people complaining about missed notifications. Like I saw Artem on Twitter was complaining about it. One or two people from 9 to 5 Google, I think. So that's the bigger problem for me than anything with the camera. Like that's what killed me when I had my OnePlus 7 Pro as my main phone. It was insane how many like texts I was missing from my family because OnePlus decided, oh, we're just not gonna check Skype notifications ever. You know, we're just feeling that way.
You know, now that I think about it, I'm not sure if I would even know if I was missing notifications. I suppose specifically messaging notifications I would figure out pretty quick, but just about everything else, I get so many.
Yeah. Well, it's I think I saw people complaining like it was a noticeable issue with like Gmail. But yeah, like I need my phone to get prompt alert. This isn't something I can be like, I don't know, you know, family members in the hospital. I don't need to know that right now. That's fine.
You know, now that you mention that, I don't remember what post it was, but I definitely remember at some point writing something for AP that was where I highlighted the significance of missing notifications and specifically bringing up like what if your wife goes into labor? This is probably a notification you don't want to miss, and no matter how she messages you, you need to know. And now I have absolutely no clue where I wrote that. Anyway. So, let's see. So speaking of the Samsung versus OnePlus on camera, Samsung this week launched its new show called Exposure. It's a Hulu original, kind of.
Oh, good. I can watch it then.
Yeah, you can certainly watch it if you so choose. Oh wow, I just noticed that my webcam is completely in the wrong place in this view, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, so if Samsung's going to try to screw with me, I'm now actually playing their tweet video on the stream, so copyright moment is in effect. Anyway, this show is it's not great. It is a very like run-of-the-mill competition show. If you've seen any of the big like cooking competition shows, if you've seen anything that's your typical like weekly challenge kind of thing, we're gonna take all these people, give them a big like you've got to do this in 1 hour, and then at the end of it we're gonna judge you and vote off one person, and that one person goes home with nothing. You know, it's very much that kind of a over the top dramatic show, and they definitely have their hyper dramatic people, one of which has now also actually contacted me directly on Twitter. No joke, one of the people on the show has tweeted at me.
What did you do to them, Cody?
Surprisingly, not much. Like,
did you cyberbully them?
I guess so. And I will say he is the most dramatic person on the show. So I assume that this is kind of an on-brand situation for him. Anyway, yeah, so I was mostly criticizing the show, actually. I didn't really criticize the people on it. But the show is weird. So it's supposed to be an ad for the Galaxy S21. But they make surprisingly little mention of the phone. In fact, they don't really show people using the phone all that much outside of like a couple glimpses of the phone taking a picture. And they don't mention that you can trigger photos to be taken by like gestures. You know what I'm talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they show people doing it, but they don't actually like mention it. So if you don't know that you're watching this thing happen, you wouldn't realize it's a feature. Anyway, so their first episode, they had what they're calling a flash challenge, and then what was the other thing? I'm suddenly blanking on the term. Anyway, a portfolio challenge. I think that's what they called it. Both of them required the people to within a time limit. Both challenges required people to basically make their own costumes, dress up, and then take selfies. And all I can think is, okay, so somewhere out there is a producer who knows that this is an hour-long ad that's going to have like 5 or 6 episodes, or maybe 7. It could be 7. And they're thinking in their head, they're thinking, you know what the perfect thing to do here is? We'll give them a challenge that guarantees they take the worst possible photos on the first episode, and that we're going to basically destroy this anyone's perception of what Samsung's cameras can do. Yeah, that's genius, guys. Fantastic logic. So yeah, the first photos they're not great. Let's see, good. I did actually. Okay, yeah, I found a tweet that includes some of them. Their first challenge, they called it throwback, or they did a Throwback Thursday challenge. I'll paste the link into the chat.
Oh, I found it on Hulu.
Okay. Anyway, they posted some of the photos.
Only one episode.
Good for you for finding it on Hulu. that actually sounded way
search function.
That sounded way snarkier than I actually intended it. It was supposed to be a subtle, or you could have watched it in other places, but yeah. Cough cough. Anyway, so yeah, they were tasked with doing the here's a picture of you as a kid, take a picture of you as an adult, kind of simulating your picture. And you can't see it obviously unless you peek at the stream, but like one of the pictures that I just clicked on, it looks like absolute trash. And part of it is the guy very specifically and intentionally added like grain to the photo, and it just looks like bad noise and grain.
Yeah, I opened this stream. That's not good.
Yeah, it looks horrible. I mean, absolutely terrible. And okay, so that was maybe a bad decision. But then we get to random girl with pink hair, and it's like, okay, I mean, it's not a terrible picture, but this was done with studio lighting. This was done with, by a person who is presumably she considers herself a professional photographer. She supposedly has a studio, but what they showed of it, I wouldn't call a studio. It's more of like a storage area that's set up with some lights. It's less like a studio than it's presented. Oops, didn't mean to flip over to that one. But yeah, as you look at each of their pictures, it's like, guys, these don't look like good pictures. They're
also, these
fuzzy. They're not terribly well focused, which they're taking selfies, so how are they gonna be? Like, The colors don't look great. This is not
these
good.
These aren't even selfies though.
Well,
right? Like with the exception of maybe that one, like middle one, I think like both of all their arms are in the frame. So it's either someone's holding the camera or they've got it on a.
Well, they have it on a tripod, but they're using the gestures to trigger the camera to take the picture. So, yeah, they're still selfies. They're just not the classic. Hey, I'm taking a picture of myself selfie. The club girl selfie.
I take back my complaint.
So yeah, these were. They're not great, and I will give credit. There was this one. It's what I've got picked up on stream right now. I will give this girl credit. This was probably the best picture out of the group, and she did win this challenge. This was the first of the 2 challenges, and this picture actually I think came out really well.
Which the first in the thread?
Yeah.
Or
that
one's good.
The Asian girl with the like white paper background kind of thing going on. Yeah, I think that's the only picture that actually out of this batch really came out looking actually like a good picture. Still maybe not the best highlight of a Samsung phone's camera, but not bad. Like I don't see anything really wrong with this outside of maybe like kind of blowing out some of the whites a little bit, but that's hard not to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to like the second one in this thread too, like the
guy with
framing
glasses.
with the different. Yeah, like the framing with the different colors. It kind of gives me like we're having a party at Google I/O vibe. But I don't quite know what he's doing with his arm besides being in advertising for Samsung with the Galaxy Watch there,
which I think was also unintentional.
Again, he has the grain filter too, or this image is just really compressed.
I think he said something about adding grain to his, but he didn't go over the top like the other guy did. Because the other guy, holy crap, his looks horrible.
Like, we all know there's only 2 reasons to ever use the grain filter. Number 1, you have poor taste, right? Or number 2, you're trying to mask how bad the camera is. I know that's why I was using the grain filter for many years on my phones, because I always had bad phones. And the grain kind of hides how bad it is, because it's like, oh, well, we're making it look like the old cameras that were also bad, but it's fun. So, yeah. So, shout out to the person in the first photo for not using grain.
Yes, exactly. And then their second challenge. I have to tell you what the second challenge is, because it's honestly
But before you click off, do you see the reply to the first tweet where someone just posted some pictures of ducks they took with their twin?
Oh yeah.
That's a good duck photo. But like I was saying earlier, that grass is neon green. Grass does not look like that.
I mean, that's not as bad as Samsung used to be.
No, but those were some good ducks.
Yes, they are. And actually, now that I think about it, I know that this is a weird takeaway from this, but I'm looking across that entire sidewalk, and this is a place where ducks presumably must walk with regularity, and I don't see a lot of droppings. So cheers to whoever comes along and hoses down this sidewalk literally twice a day.
Or maybe the ducks are just really well behaved.
Or maybe these are like 2 ducks belonging to a specific person, and this person was like, hey, come out here for a picture.
Taking them on a walk.
I never actually went over and talked to this guy, but I saw him once. There was a guy who lived in Vegas who had a pet penguin that he would take out on the strip from time to time.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a weird sentence, isn't it? There was this guy in Vegas who had a pet penguin that he took out on the strip from time to time.
What's his name, Mr. Popper, Cody?
I honestly, I never had any idea what his name was. I heard about him a couple of times, then I saw him at a distance once, and it's like, yeah, I had the brief moment of, should I go closer? And that was over within a split second. It's like, nope, not interested. I'm going the other way.
I bet his house smells terrible. Like with all the, presumably he's feeding the penguin fish. And also just, I don't think you can house train a penguin. I'm going to imagine not. That's got to be a terrible smelling house.
I'm assuming there is no such thing as actually house training any bird. I could be mistaken. I honestly know two. I mean, I've had a canary once. Outside of that, I no actual history with birds.
No. They just kind of do it wherever.
So yeah, anyway, the second challenge on this show. The second challenge on this show was really bizarre. They gave people a choice of a lot of damn, what's the word I want to use? Like Renaissance photos. And they basically challenged them to recreate those. And it was for this they gave them 2 hours. It wasn't a good challenge in any way, shape, or form. I don't know what they were going for, but again, all these people had they had to, in 2 hours time, make their own costumes. They had to try to make them look good somehow, and it just doesn't work. So yeah, I'm not sure what they were thinking there. I'd say there was, out of all the Renaissance pictures, maybe 2 of them I looked at and thought, okay, they're still not good pictures, but at least the people did a good job kind of recreating their thing. All the rest of them look pretty bad. And what's kind of killing me is if you happen to look through the hashtag exposure on Hulu, if you look through, you'll find a weird number of people who are...
Oh no, that's got to be a dangerous hashtag to scroll.
Surprisingly not. I'm
Okay.
genuinely surprised at how much it is not people posting porn or any variation thereof. But so much so, I actually, at least for one more minute, I feel comfortable scrolling through this hashtag, because I looked through it not that long ago and I didn't see anything shady. Outside of maybe a couple of meme violations.
Time for me to post a Mortal Kombat trailer on the hashtag.
Oh my god, if they ping me twice, I'm gonna troll Warner Brothers so hard. Anyway, no, if you scroll through here, there's a fair number of people who are just saying like, oh my god, they did such great work, and it's like, no, they didn't. Wait, have you ever taken a picture with your phone? You probably did better. And again, like, I'm not trying to hammer on the people that did this, because honestly, the first challenges were not about photography. They were about playing dress up. And it wasn't, because of that, like, this whole thing bothers me, because I'm wondering how much of this is just going to be straight up, we don't care if you take a good picture, we just want you to put on a good show. Obviously, that's what all these competition shows are. But at least, like, if you went on the Great British Bake Off, let's be honest, they still at least expect you to cook some food. That is what that show's about, right?
Right.
I mean,
I think so.
I would be really, I would be absolutely in love with the idea that the show is actually just about people who get together and get as stoned as possible. But I don't think that's what they would do. I'm assuming that it's very pastry oriented or something to that effect. But yeah, so far this has been more about making costumes than anything else, and that makes me kind of sad. It's definitely not a photography show. It's at least not so far. It's just drama and dress up. So anyway, I'm gonna give it another episode at least, just to see if maybe they kind of fix it up. And I think the next episode, I think, is supposed to be live music. And keep in mind they shot this during the pandemic, because obviously it's about the S21. So they're bringing in a band and having all the people just kind of swarm around them with no other audience. It's just going to be these photographers just kind of hovering over a band as they play. And I guess they're supposed to be trying to get sort of concert-like photos or something.
Well, I mean, it's like that they keep picking really bad categories. Like, no one's ever got like a good concert photo.
Oh,
like they're always like,
okay, careful with that. I will disagree with you there. There are some amazing concert photos out there.
Okay. I guess I should have said, like, it's incredibly easy to, or most of the ones I see are like, oh, it's not framed at all. There's like 50,000 hands in the way of whatever you're trying to take the picture of.
Oh yeah. If you're taking from the audience perspective, then okay, yeah, then those almost always suck. There are exceptions, but they are few and far between for sure.
It is kind of fun how they're recreating some of like the background and stuff, though. That's fun.
Okay, I'm not gonna say that this is the best, but I just popped one into stream that's I would say that's actually a pretty good concert photo, even from the crowd perspective. You know, I don't know if you're seeing it or not, but there are good ones. But I will say that if you can take photos from oh yeah, here's one that's a good example. We'll pop that into, oops, no, did not mean to open the YouTube video attached to it. But like if you can be right up close to the band and get a picture, or especially from like off stage or behind the band, anything like that, you can do amazing concert photos. But usually they still involve kind of capturing a little bit of the crowd or having a great angle on the lead singer, something like that. Anyway, yeah, not exactly the point, but I just figured I'd defend concert photos briefly.
Is that your new Twitter bio? Concert photo defender.
Concert photo defender. I mean, that's actually not bad. Oh, but yeah, anyway, so I want to give Samsung credit for this. I think this show is a good idea. But after seeing it, I already figured the show would be terrible in the sense that it's trash TV. But I thought at least it would be a good idea. I was optimistic on the basis that, hey, you know, it is a really smart idea to do a ad that people might actually want to come watch. That is always a good idea. Let's be honest, a ton of YouTubers have basically made their livelihood on doing ads for things that people just want to come watch. It is basically, almost literally, all MKBHD's channel is a series of ads. And I'm not throwing shade at MKBHD. This is just, let's be honest, it's the YouTuber thing. You can go on a million tech channels, and if all they're doing is talking about new products that came out, they're doing ads, just their own style. But after seeing this, I feel like it's a bad ad. It just isn't. It's not selling the product to me in any way that I would actually want to try it or use it.
Yeah, I'm not the kind of person that would be into this at all. Like, I don't watch any like competition TV at all, especially anything produced recently where they don't even have, like, I know obviously like the audience reactions and that kind of stuff is always like heavily edited, but like we're now like where like NBC and these other companies that have a lot of these types of shows, they're just putting in footage of audiences they recorded like 8 months ago and just putting in because like, oh, we can't do this right now.
Yeah,
it's very like uncanny valley now.
I know that this is a bit of a different thing because it's very intentionally making fun of it, but Real Time with Bill Maher, I caught up to their COVID coverage, and it when he started doing his show after COVID hit, they started inserting clips from like 50, 60-year-old stuff. So it's like half of it's in black and white. There's like pictures of old presidents that have been dead for 20 years clapping, and yeah, like they're specifically making fun of other channels for having done this, which I appreciate that. You know, if you're inserting random footage just for the sake of being able to say, oh look, it's like we have an audience, come on, like, you deserve to be mocked at least a little bit. Like, go ahead, keep doing it. If it makes for a show that feels better for people watching it, cheers, keep doing it. But at the same time, you're gonna get mocked for it. It's kind of like doing Real Housewives. People are gonna watch it. If people want to watch it, go ahead, make it, whatever. But you also get to be mocked for making a Real Housewives show.
Oh, Austin's taking concert photos with an iPad.
I think he's lying about this.
Okay.
But a part of me also hopes he's not.
Because that is like the meme, right? You're going around holding up your iPad at events.
Well, what was that that famous photo from what, the Vatican or something? The comparison photo Vatican iPads, maybe? I'm not sure. Maybe it's iPhones. Or,
just hit my
oh, here it is. Yeah. Okay. I'll put this one up in stream too. So, it's a picture comparison pictures taken in 2005 and 2013 of what the Vatican looks like if you just take a picture at that moment. And in 2005, there are a bunch of people, almost all of which are staring forward and paying attention to what's going on. In 2013, all these people are holding up phones, and it's specifically framed with one person holding a tablet up, like dead center of the photo. And it's oh, damn it! I just now realized that I've got you dead center over that person. Okay, now it's in stream and looks right. But yeah, it is a very different kind of thing. All these phone screens are showing up in there, and it looks very, very different. Anyway, yeah, I gotta say though, it would be funny to very intentionally go in to a concert with a 12 12 point whatever inch iPad Pro and just be like, this is how I'm going to snap pictures. I wonder how quickly people would literally just pick you up and throw you in the mosh pit.
It would probably be quick. I'd be very annoyed. Bonus points if you get some kind of like industrial strength selfie stick and just have it like way up. That'd be funny.
Oh my god, that actually would be great.
Like someone's like, you're just like enjoying, like you're just watching a concert and you see someone holding up like, someone's like, is that like a picket sign? Oh no, it's an iPad.
Hey, for what it's worth, I absolutely was a massive D-bag during a Google I/O. In 2014, I think, 2013 or 2014 Google I/O. It was, let's see, it must have been probably 2014. I was there sitting next to Artem, and he put me on he had me take pictures of the stage. And at a certain point, I realized I've raised my hands up with the camera so many times, like raise up, bring it down, raise up, bring it down. And it was reasonably every few seconds. And at a certain point, it's like, screw it, hands are just staying up. And I'm sure whoever's behind me is like, oh my god, dude, please put your hands down. Just like get the camera out of the way for a second so I can get my shot. And I just stopped caring. So yeah, I've been the a-hole who totally blocked people's shots. I like to believe in my heart of hearts that there was somebody from 9 to 5 sitting right behind me.
Oh. Terrible.
Well, hey.
I also...
It's fair.
Well, maybe I could make my own photos for this show, because I do have a S21 Ultra now.
Well, yeah, but you have the Ultra, so your photos are going to come out worse than if you had any of the others. That's still true, right?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Isn't the S21 Ultra, like, it came out and the photos were just always coming out worse? Maybe I'm mistaken, but I swear that was a thing.
No, I think you're right. I imagine that has to be fixed by now, but
assuming it could be.
I don't know. I haven't taken a lot of photos with this yet because I've been busy with the OnePlus 9.
Yeah.
But this is a chonker. Why do we keep making phones this big? This is huge. And it's so heavy too, because they put, it has the big screen, it has the big battery, and then you need to surround all that with glass. So like, this is an check out how that's a camera mound. That's not a bump anymore. That's an elevation increase.
Yeah.
Although I do like this like silicone case that Samsung made for it. It's kind of nice, but it does not hide the bump at all.
No.
Pretty much still there.
That being said, I gotta admit, I really want to try out, what phone is it that has that just gigantic mountain of a camera module?
Oh, the Mi 11?
Yeah, the Mi 11. I don't know if the camera is actually that special, but I just want to try it out, because if you're going to do that with your camera module, you better have done something good. And well, I want to try it out just to say.
Yeah. Well, I think it's mostly huge because they put an actual screen in it.
I'm sure that helps, but I don't think that can't be the only thing. They have to have put at least a little bit better optics in there or something. They had to do something to justify, or it like what? Okay, if the screen is the reason that it's there, okay, that's fine. But then you still have this extra space, so take advantage of it. Do something with having a thicker space for putting camera and optics.
Well, supposedly it has a 50 megapixel main camera, and then a 48 megapixel ultra wide, and then a 48 megapixel telephoto.
Yeah, which I will give credit on at least the basis that they're not just using like one good sensor for one spot and then sticking in like a 5 megapixel nothing camera for the other things, because that sucks.
Yeah, I think that's harder to get away with on flagships.
I mean,
especially
they're definitely still doing it. Name a smartphone that has a macro camera that isn't like 5 megapixels or maybe.
Yeah,
I think one of them came out and hit 7 megapixels for their macro. Like, that still sucks.
No, it's terrible. But I think that's a little bit that. But yeah, I haven't seen. I think most of this leaked before the announcement, so I'm sure people have taken photos with it. I'd wonder if the camera lenses are doing any kind of combining pixels or binning or something, because that does bug me a lot on with these announcements, where companies will say, oh, my phone has a 100 megapixel camera. No, it doesn't. It doesn't do that. You take the pictures and it comes out as 16 megapixels.
Yeah. Well,
and a lot of times the binning doesn't even really seem to help that much. Like every phone that ever had like a monochrome sensor, like that. No. You're just slapping that on there so you can say you have 4 cameras. Sir, I know what you're up to.
Yeah, exactly. I will give credit to, I don't know which phone it was, but I know one of the phones that had the 108 megapixel camera. It wasn't Samsung, I know that, but I think they were using Samsung's sensor. They did have a mode where you could actually get the 108 megapixel version, and it was unsurprisingly a big giant file that was giant for no real reason, but it did exist. So you were able to get this on one phone, at least one, maybe more. So at least someone did it, kind of. And I'm sure their optics probably weren't that great. It probably resulted in a fairly crappy file, but hey, at least you can say you had this giant terrible file that Facebook no doubt downsampled to a useless image by the time they were done anyway. So congrats.
Yeah, I would really love to see what Huawei could be doing if it hadn't got smashed by sanctions, because they were doing some wild stuff like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah,
like what Samsung is selling now is almost like what Huawei had years ago.
Yeah, and I agree with a lot of.
It seemed like they were ahead.
Oh yeah, well I agree with what so many other people are saying. Is Huawei, in all likelihood, was going to directly surpass Google purely by the fact that they were just putting in cameras and optics and technology that were just fundamentally too much better than what Google was putting in terms of like software. So, outright, it is a realistic truth. If you put in a bigger sensor, if you put in better optics, you take advantage of basically physics to build a better camera, you're going to get better images. Yes, Google and Samsung and everybody else can do it in software, and Huawei was doing software stuff too. But at the end of the day, if you can just put in the better hardware, you're going to get a much better starting point on your images.
Yeah, what could have been,
Pretty much.
but I don't think Huawei is gonna come back. Doesn't seem like Biden's too interested in reversing anything.
I'm not
Which, like,
prepared to make that assumption, because Huawei is still huge. Even if they're down, let's be honest, the day that something changes, Huawei will come back really, really fast. And not only that, but just a theory, if things go on long enough and Huawei isn't allowed to come back, we're going to see a new company pop up that just mysteriously behaves like Huawei, sounds like Huawei, looks like Huawei, but it's not named Huawei. And let's be honest, the Chinese government wants this company to succeed, even if it's under a different name.
They sort of did that with
Honor?
yeah. They sold off Honor to, I don't know if it's now based in like, I don't know if it's Shenzhen or Hong Kong. I'm not sure where they're based now, but supposedly it has no
ties to the original company.
Right.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, and that was probably just Huawei saying like, this is not going to be over anytime soon. We need to sell this while it's still valuable.
Yeah, I imagine that probably was. And besides, Honor was making their budget stuff. They had some good budget phones, but it was still their budget stuff. I have a hunch, and what I'm talking about is, instead of just the budget stuff, it's gonna be flagship phones coming out under, I don't know, a completely different made-up name that will not sound at all Chinese, by the way. I guess Huawei doesn't necessarily sound Chinese, but yeah, it's gonna be a very different situation. If they're doing this, they're trying to hide the fact that it's Honor. They don't want anyone picking up on it and then banning that company too.
Yeah, I don't know, because the US shut down ZTE for pulling similar things. Like it was selling products through subsidiaries.
Yeah, but they weren't subtle about it. And if I remember, a lot of that stuff still had like ZTE's name on it.
Yeah, I don't think Huawei's going to be able to pull a fast one, but maybe like later on, if they could try making some other brand, at least to remove the consumer perception on their brand that might be negative. So I don't know. I'm still kind of surprised that OnePlus hasn't faced like a single controversy about wow, I can't speak today. I'm surprised OnePlus hasn't gotten in anything. Considering they are mostly based in China. I think they're split across like China and the US. But like they're selling phones just fine on US carriers, and that was like the first that was the main thing Huawei came close to accomplishing here but never did. Was partner with like AT&T and Verizon and stuff, and those deals were canned at the last minute, and then not too soon after that they started getting hit with trade embargoes.
Yeah,
but OnePlus seems to be doing just fine, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I often wonder how that works. It seems fishy, but at the same time, I suspect there's probably a lot. There's probably a whole lot of sort of agreement that.
OnePlus isn't selling like networking equipment, so that's one part of this. But
yeah, I mean, certainly that makes a difference between them and Huawei. No question, that makes a difference. But
Well,
to be fair,
see,
the division of Huawei
thought,
that's making the phone is also not the same division, and effectively not even the same company that sells the networking equipment. So, you know,
yeah.
different, very different situations.
I wasn't sure where ZTE was based, but Wikipedia says it's in Hong Kong and Shenzhen.
Right.
So, but they haven't gotten smacked down for anything related to surveillance. They just got smacked down because they were selling equipment to Iran.
Yeah. Yeah, and technically yeah, those were different. I don't want to say crimes. It was different or different motivations for putting them on the entity list. Which I will also briefly call out that DJI was put on that list, and it has had no real effect on DJI. I'm not sure if they're even still on it anymore, but yeah, DJI was telling people, look, yeah, we're still selling, we're doing good, no big deal. And as far as I can tell, that's been true. Aside from maybe a slight slowdown in deliveries, they never stopped shipping products and they never stopped selling them. So they're doing okay.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely some supply chains that you could pretty easily do without anything made or designed in the US or by trading with US companies. I feel like maybe some of the chipsets might be based on US tech, but I feel like drones might be easier to do on an independent manufacturing.
Yeah. Well, and
whereas smartphones, there's like a handful of companies making the chips in the entire world.
A handful.
No, it's just TSMC.
Yeah. But yeah, that is kind of the other thing. I don't know what site it was, but I was looking at one that knew it was whatever site it was. They seemed to really have a good grasp on like the bill of materials and the specific component providers that DJI was using. And they kind of said outright, you know, the thing is DJI makes so much of its own components, or, you know, they're at least responsible for developing a lot of this stuff. And like, even if they have somebody else physically making those things,
right,
it kind of doesn't matter because it's all still coming from in-house. At the end of the day, they really weren't affected, which also, honestly, I know this is a weird takeaway, but makes me wonder, how big is DJI really? I mean, we're talking about a company that makes drones, and at first blush, they don't really make a lot of other stuff. But if they're making all these things on their own, that means they got a lot of technology stored in-house, like a surprising level, which means they also have to have quite a few really smart engineers working there doing this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which seems surprising because I don't know of any other company that's making such a small line of products that has that much technology presumably hidden, like buried inside their walls.
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is DJI could expand into other markets soon. Maybe they'll make cars.
I mean, strictly speaking, I mean, DJI could easily expand into other markets. And suddenly, and I've never considered this before, but now I want a DJI phone. I absolutely want a DJI phone.
They'll make full-size helicopters. They're like the same design as like the Mavic, but just scaled up several times.
I mean, I'd be okay with riding in that quad. That'd be pretty fun. As long as the
Gonna be the
controls
most
are
stable
nothing.
helicopter flight.
Yeah, no kidding. What turbulence? There's no turbulence. Are you kidding?
We're completely motionless at 1,800 feet right now.
I mean, their gimbals are that good. Man, that would be funny. All that being said, I would still also be terrified of their batteries. DJI, for as much good stuff as DJI does with everything else, their batteries are iffy.
You can have the most stable helicopter ride ever, but it will be 7 minutes long.
Oh, no. So battery duration is always good, but man, like depending on how you treat those batteries, it can be as little as like 5 to 10 uses before they've been known to start puffing up.
Oh,
yeah.
So they got oh
yeah, they really desperately need to steal some Tesla battery technology. Which I probably shouldn't have said. Austin's in the room, and I have a feeling we're gonna let me. If I remember correctly, it's GM that's the exciting battery developer right now. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I thought it was GM.
I'm not up to date on any of this.
Former EV owner, and you're already out of the loop. How dare you?
Yeah. I just learned like a week ago that Tesla makes most of its money by just selling green car credits to other companies.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
I didn't know about this at all. But like I don't know if it's the U.S. government or different countries, or might be multiple. But
I'm assuming
like
both.
The U.S. has like a goal of what every car company needs to hit on the emissions of all their vehicles, but the thing is that car manufacturers can also just buy credits from other companies, so they've all been buying from Tesla, and that's how Tesla makes a lot of its money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that's bad. Cheers. If that's your business model that's going to be profitable, then okay. That's not the worst thing.
That seems like just like missing the point entirely.
Oh, completely missing the point. Without a doubt missing the point. But at least
it's like
it's still some kind of an improvement, even if it's the wrong one.
I guess in like a roundabout way, it makes an incentive to develop EVs, but like I'm just thinking in my mind, like if I'm gonna use this as an analogy, like I feel like that would be like the U.S. government saying all cars need to have seatbelts, but Ford decided to make cars with no seatbelts, and then there was some other car manufacturer that had like 18 seatbelts in each of their cars, and they just bought credits from that company.
I like the imagery of this. In fact, the imagery is fantastic, but so taking it semi-seriously, I actually look at this kind of in the perspective of and this, I know this is such a weird way to say it, but kind of what Amazon did with its online store. They originally succeeded by making mostly college books. I mean, all kinds of books for sure, but especially college books, much cheaper, more accessible, and more available than you could get them at your own college bookstore. I mean, look, they did a good thing and got rich doing it. I kind of see that being what Tesla's ultimately doing here too. They're doing a good thing and getting rich doing it. They don't care in the least about the thing that they're doing, but we're getting something good in the process. So I'll kind of take it. Yeah, and pumping and dumping 100 million in Bitcoin. It is what it is. I mean, everyone's doing it.
I know. Gives me so much things. Yeah. Like I fucking hate Bitcoin, Cody. I can't tell you how much I hate this. Like, not like even just like beyond the maybe we shouldn't be wasting the electricity of like several countries on basically just solving hashing algorithms. But like I can do you know the last time I was able to write a deal post for a graphics card, Cody? It's been months. And I can't I can't write about graphics cards. I can't really write about like desktop. Like there are sales on desktop PCs, but even the sales are like several $100s more than they would have been for the same thing 6 months ago, and I don't feel good about highlighting that. Like, oh look, it's a steal. It's only 300% overpriced instead of 900%. Wow.
Yeah. I don't get me
Like,
wrong, I'm not about to defend that.
Like when I moved, I put my desktop PC in like the most carefully wrapped box ever. So I was like, I really don't need like, you know, like the little pin connections and stuff on GPUs is terrible. So like, I really don't need my GTX 1080 dying right now because I will not find a replacement for a very long time. And thankfully it survived the trip. But it's terrible.
It is a weird world we live in. That's the line we have to draw.
No, it's insane. Like I remember this similar thing happened. I think like 6 months after I started working at PC Gamer, and it was like a little bit annoying. But it went away after a while. But even during that shortage, which was also caused by Bitcoin, I don't know if it was Bitcoin specific. It might have been like Ethereum at that point.
No,
but
I think it's always been Bitcoin. I mean, yeah,
Bitcoin's
Ethereum has
the big
become
one.
a relevant example.
Yeah,
but it's pretty much always
just
been
whichever.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's just whichever one happens to be profitable at any given moment. But like even that one, like it didn't get as bad as it is now. Like there's no high-end graphics cards ever, just nowhere. Like Newegg's been doing like raffles every time it gets a new shipment of GPUs. It's
At least they're doing raffles and
it's
not
really...
like bidding.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's Newegg, so I don't have I don't have huge faith that they're not gonna try to hustle people, but you know,
Newegg is extremely shameless. I can't count how many times I've seen like some 8-year-old Chromebook in one of their like deal emails. Like, all right, guys.
Yeah, but at least it's not. Well, I hate calling it pay to win, but at least they're not just straight up saying, all right, we've got 15 graphics cards today, so who wants to pay the most for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be worse.
In like 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes.
Say what?
I gotta go in like 5 minutes.
Ah.
But yeah, no, it's atrocious. It's really bad. And it bugs me how there's still so many like Bitcoin stands everywhere. Like we're just like, oh, it's fine. You know, it's fine that almost every important computer component is rare now. Because like this is happening at the same time as like I think like memory prices are expected to start going back up soon. Whatever, I don't know if it's TSMC, but there's been a couple plants in I think it's not Hong Kong. What am I thinking? What's the island that China says it owns?
Taiwan.
But doesn't. Taiwan, thank you. I think there's been like continued droughts in Taiwan, and because they had built so many of like the semiconductors and everything, like everything else is impacted. Like there's a report that car manufacturers are trying to spin production back up now that COVID's over and people have money again. Some people have money again, and they can't because they're short on components.
Yeah.
Like it's several layers of awful right now. And like some of these, like you can't really do anything about. Like capitalism just ended up having one island be the source of most of our computer hardware, you know.
Yeah, no kidding.
What can you do about that? But like, you know, nature isn't causing Bitcoin. We can maybe stop doing that.
Well,
but
you know, it's funny that even comes up, especially in the earlier context of the environment and side effects there. Did you hear about the Sega story?
The Sega story.
So a day or two ago, I guess yesterday, Twitter went off the rails over this. Sega Japan, and evidently it is very important to specify we're talking Sega Japan, not the US or UK branch. I think it's UK. But Sega Japan is going to start selling NFTs for Sonic. And
yeah.
And people are livid over the fact that Sonic, a character who was one of the early like environmentally friendly characters that was all about protecting the forest, is being used to push or hustle NFTs, which, depending on who you ask, there's a strong belief that NFTs are responsible for huge energy usage, which I think is technically bullshit. I mean, it definitely.
I don't think you mine.
No,
NFTs.
You don't mine NFTs.
Yeah. So.
There is a little bit
stupid.
of this, like, you know, maintaining the transaction record kind of thing. That is a part of the blockchain technically, but yeah, that is a part of it. That is happening, and it does impact. It does have a cost associated with it, but is it massive? Yeah. I don't think it is.
Yeah, like yeah, like yeah. I don't know. I'd have to check. I imagine that's not any more energy intensive than like running a server, probably. It's more the mining that's the issue.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, NFTs they're so fucking stupid. I can't believe this is a trend.
So I agree with what Phil DeFranco has said on this, and plenty of other people too. He's just the first person I heard talking. Yeah, okay. So what Phil DeFranco has kind of been tossing around is, in the context of using NFTs as sort of using them as kind of the like secret handshake to say, yes, I was one of the first people who joined this service, or I was one of your first backers. And if you have that NFT, it kind of gets you into kind of like the secret club, so to speak. Like, because you were one of the first backers, now your NFT kind of also earns you accesses. Like the next time a deal comes along, maybe you'll get the first chance at it, kind of a thing. In that sense, all right, NFTs are your membership token. I can see that being a practical, reasonable argument for them. But in the sense of just somebody saying, hey, we're going to sell you a like $500 thing so you can say you were first. No, that's stupid.
Well,
that's idiotic.
You're paying for the certificate, you're not paying for the thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of the prices being thrown around is people I don't know if the dumb rich people think this or if it's just like what just ends up being spent. But a lot of the amounts are costs we would associate with owning the thing,
Yeah.
right? Like a painting going for hundreds of millions of dollars. Like that's like normal. I don't think it's good. There's maybe something wrong there. But like at that point, you own something that was like physical, created. There's some kind of value inherent to the object. But
Yeah.
NFTs is like it's like you're not you don't own anything except like some kind of certification that says you oh I don't know. Yeah, actually, you know what's a good analogy? The websites that let you gift stars to people.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like you don't own the star, but like this website says you do. So that has some kind of inherent value to people.
Yeah, Corbin, are you on the correct mic?
No.
Okay.
What's Firefox doing?
Now that I think about it, that raises an odd question. I wonder if, instead of you reconnecting, I wonder if you could just switch mics back and forth to fix the static when that happens. Oh, you were off when I said that. Next time your mic goes staticky, next time someone lets us know that, we should see if you can just switch between mics, like switch to a different mic and then switch back to your correct one.
Well, I can't do that without reloading anyway.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Jitsi, I don't know if it's a Firefox thing or a Jitsi thing, but Jitsi does not let me change the microphone in its UI. So I have to do it in the browser, which makes the page reload.
Wow.
So I don't know whose fault that is, but it's not good design.
Yeah, no kidding. It seems like a Linux thing. No matter what, I'm just going to blame Linux for it.
I mean, it's Linux's fault sometimes, especially audio. If something's wrong with audio, it's probably Linux's fault.
Yeah.
Even if you're just on a completely different operating system.
Austin compared the NFT ownership to timeshares in Mexico. I mean, kind of true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which, I hadn't really thought about it, but I wonder if people have been able to get to their timeshares after or since COVID. I mean, I'm sure some people have, but I bet that's been kind of a crappy deal for a lot of people. Everybody except Ted Cruz. Anyway,
right.
Sorry, there's no way not to do a little slap on Ted Cruz.
I'm always here for slapping on Republicans, Cody. You know this.
True enough.
Except right now, because I have to go and do boring work.
Lame.
Yeah, because I'm doing work today because I'll probably get nothing done tomorrow because I have to drive really far to get the second COVID shot again. So fun times.
It's 2 weeks away until I get to have my second COVID shot, so yeah, long wait.
And also, yeah, if I, maybe it'll fuck me up and I won't be able to get anything done for longer than a day. So.
Yeah, that's the one I'm a little worried about. Though I have to have at least one review done by that, or one more review done after the one that I just got done. So yeah, I have a lot of stuff lined up for the next 2 weeks, but hopefully I'm gonna get enough of it done just before my next COVID shot. So yeah, maybe I'll be able to just kind of ride it out in peace for a day or two.
Or maybe we'll be fine and nothing happens like some people are experiencing. Just
yeah.
Arms numb for a little bit. I'm good.
One can hope. That's about as far as I'll go. One can hope.
Well, regardless, both of those are better than actually getting COVID. So there's that.
Should be. If nothing else, I do not want to lose my sense of taste as a result of COVID. So, I can deal with a day or two of just being kind of miserable and having some headaches and mild nausea. Yeah, I'll put up with that so that I don't lose my sense of taste. Fair trade.
Yeah, that is a good motivator too, to get the vaccine. That's what Biden should be talking about on the State of the Union. He's like, all that great food we have here? Do you want to keep enjoying it?
Hey, if it would work.
I should work in government PR. I'd be great at it. Just be like, look, guys, I know we suck, but I'm trying. I know no one likes us. That's okay.
Isn't that Florida's motto? I know we suck, but at least we're trying. No,
they're not trying though.
they're not self-aware enough to recognize either of these things.
No, they're not trying.
They're not trying, and they're not self-aware enough to recognize they suck.
Did you see what I posted in my politics?
No, not yet.
There was a private school in Miami that is banning teachers who get the vaccine. Yeah.
Wait, didn't I? Oh. Wait, didn't I post that to? I think I posted that to my politics channel.
Oh,
before.
I'm not sure. I think I saw this in my RSS reader. I think.
Let's see. I posted that on the 26th. Yeah, the founder is banning teachers because if they've been vaccinated. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate people.
Did you see my response to that in my politics channel?
No.
Quote, this woman deserves to pour a bowl of alphabets in the morning and only get the letters WTF.
That's a good insult, Cody.
I feel like it is. I was pretty happy with it. But yeah, the level of stupid that you have to work towards to accomplish deciding that not only is the vaccine apparently causing problems with people's ability to procreate, but it's also evidently hopping between people just because. Yeah, vaccines do that. You touch someone's skin and suddenly they become immune to things. I'm sure that would have been awesome in the good old days of measles, mumps, and rubella.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hate people. I really do wonder when I'll be able to go back to Disney World, because it's looking increasingly likely that it's going to be like 10 years.
I mean, if Florida keeps existing, yeah, pretty much. Honestly, I'm looking forward to. I know that this is going to sound kind of weird, but I have a couple of projects I really want to get done that involve being around other people. Like, it's hard, not a lot of people, just like 4 or 5, maybe as many as 10, but I really, really want to like get the second vaccine done, go do these projects as quick as I can, and then tune back into the news and see if the other variants have spread like wildfire, because I want to get it done because I need to get it done, and then as soon as it's over, I can be like, okay, I'm willing to back off. I took my risk. Now let's see what actually happens with the other variants. I'm not panicky. I'm not terrified of stuff, but at the same time, I'm just very aware that if all we do is spread all the variants around as heavily as we can, they're going to mutate more. We're just going to we're going to go through this cycle over and over again. I don't want that.
Yeah. I mean, like, it seems like the variants right now, like the vaccines are still effective against those, but like they're gonna keep mutating. It's not gonna end ever.
No.
This is just an eternal battle that some people just aren't interested in fighting in the slightest, and that's slightly sad.
Yeah, which it ironically just means that they're going to keep getting invaded.
Yeah, like the stuff coming out of India right now is like horrifying. Also because they don't have, we bought up the entire world supply of vaccines apparently, and we're not sharing because that's what we like to do.
And we're still not even very good at vaccinating our own people, which is pretty special.
No, because like we're starting. I think it's something like 40% of adults in North Carolina, where I am, are half vaccinated, I think, and I think it's like 20% so far that have both doses. But yeah, we're gonna start hitting in the next couple weeks. We're gonna start hitting the wall of people who can't be convinced, and hopefully some of those people can change their minds if enough time passes where no one's limbs are falling off from getting the shot or something like that. But I don't know. This has been an issue that's been around for a really long time, so I don't think it's gonna go away overnight.
I hadn't thought about it before, but I really wonder. I wonder if it's possible to find statistics by county for vaccinated
vaccination people. Yeah. The New York Times has a nice page, like all the data is like public obviously, but they have it in nice graphs that it's easy to search. But yeah, like if you go to the New York Times homepage, there's actually a search bar where you can type in a county. I have my county bookmarked, so I check in on it occasionally. We've had pretty much the same average number of new cases since like February. So
of course the New York Times has it paywalled. Every freaking page has to be paywalled on there these days.
Can steal AP's login.
I just use the incognito window, but still.
Oh, that works too.
It is a little frustrating that it's necessary. Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, I switched over so I have that view. Oh, interesting. They don't get data from Colorado or New Mexico.
Well, you're not in either of those, so good for you, Cody.
That's true. Okay, so let's see. Douglas County. 27% of all residents okay, so ages 65 and over are at 60%, ages 18 and over are 33%. I don't know if that's good or bad because it's been open, and this is fully vaccinated. Never mind. That's actually a pretty useless statistic because they only just opened up vaccines for everybody. A little over a week ago, just barely over a week ago. So no one in that group should be fully vaccinated yet. Everyone's still waiting on their second dose. So this number's gonna presumably spike way higher in like 2 to 3 more weeks. Supposedly.
Yeah.
But
Wake
that
county is supposedly at 32% fully vaccinated. So I think that's about where the national average is somewhere between 20 and 30.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of hoping that there would be statistics on first vaccination. That makes me a lot more curious because that would that would tell us like how many people have actually at least gone and done it. And
Yeah.
I figure
there was
if you've gotten one vaccination, you're probably going to get two.
Yeah, like I think there was I can't remember which state was talking about it, but there was some state talking about how they had like a 92% of people coming back for the second dose. So it was just about everyone.
Okay, I know that it just by pure coincidence I arrowed over Bighorn County, Montana, where age 65 and over it happens to actually be at 92% already. And their 18 and over is at 64%. I mean, that's already like, holy crap. And their neighboring county's practically identical. Neighboring county, Rosebud County, all residents are at 46%. Like, how long have they had general admission that many people are already vaccinated? That's actually impressive.
It turns out Montana's been hoarding the vaccines this whole time.
Honestly, it's very possible. I found, okay, so there are two other counties here in Montana, 51% on both of them for all residents, regardless of age. Like, holy crap, Montana has 4 counties. They're like Johnny on the spot. They're doing it right.
So one thing I'm noticing from this New York Times page is the counties in Alaska are hilarious. They have,
I mean,
like,
everything in Alaska is kind of hilarious.
Like, they have like normal sized ones near the bottom where humans actually live.
Yeah.
And then like you just get up to the upper half, it's like, oh, there's like 4. I covered the entire upper half of it. Like, there's some counties that are definitely bigger than some New England states here. But yeah, that's just funny. Okay, well, you have fun looking at graphs. I'm gonna go now.
All right, man. Well, take it easy. I will chat with you somewhere in the near future.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
All right. Anyway, so let's see. Austin, evolution is fun. Oh, if only evolution were happening the correct way. Evolution would be great if it was happening the way it happens in X-Men. It's terrible when it happens with Florida Man. X-Man, good. Florida Man, bad. Oh my god. Okay. Sorry. That one's happening right now. X-Man, good. Florida Man, bad. Title changed. It happened. Okay. Oh god, it's a scary thought, but I love being able to say that. Awesome. Yeah, Maryland is behind just the week we opened up to the general public, and it's impossible to find one. See, that's completely opposite from what's happening here. I looked at, now granted, I was pretty quick about booking my first appointment. I went on and I looked at one place I kind of wanted to go to, but they were offering Moderna, which I did a little bit of research, and it looked like Pfizer was probably the better way to go. And I didn't really want to wait for the J&J shot just in case, because at that point in time there was no certainty when or if it was coming back. So yeah, anyway, I decided to go with Pfizer. I looked at the locations. I picked the one that I consider the most familiar to me, I guess, and that I could feasibly go in and get one. Anyway, so yeah, when I looked at times for booking, there were obviously some times that were taken, but outside of that, like, there was plenty of times. It's not hard to get shots here. At least it doesn't seem to be. B. Slidem said, I don't understand the animosity towards people who choose not to get one. Okay, so, hey, David. So I'm going to answer this one in kind of, I don't know if you'll agree with the way that I'm seeing this one, but this is how I look at it. I don't necessarily have animosity towards people who are choosing not to get a vaccine. I have animosity towards people who are being dicks about it. Because there are people who are just casually saying, look, you know, I'm not against vaccines, but I want to wait to make sure that I'm getting one that's as safe as I can get. And for whatever reasons, COVID is obviously not a primary concern. Perhaps that person has already caught it and is not likely to catch it again for at least a period of time. And presumably they're in good enough health that their risk of death is low. Like if you've got somebody in that scenario, I completely understand why they'd be saying, yeah, I'm not going to rush out and get one first thing. I'm going to wait because it's a practical decision to make. I would understand that person making that argument. And even if somebody's in a position where they're not likely to spread it because of lifestyle or circumstances, okay, cheers, like whatever. I'm not going to blame that person at all. I'm not going to have any animosity towards someone who's even saying, look, I just don't want to get one right now. Like, maybe not really giving a reason, they just don't want to get one right now, which I think that's where you probably land. The people I have animosity towards are the ones who are outright, they have animosity towards anyone who got the vaccine. You know, kind of like that, the founder of that school in Florida. That's a person who is actually outright banning teachers from a school because they were vaccinated. There are people who are out there. I mean, I could pick on all the really silly examples, like that one weird jackass who was standing outside of a vaccination spot and telling people that they were injecting murder babies into their blood. Which, yeah, that's obviously a person who's just insane. They're not credible. But if people are trying to bully other people out of getting a vaccine, then fuck them. Those people, they don't get to have an opinion that crosses my path. Because that, I don't care who you are or where you stand on this. If you're trying to bully somebody out of doing something for their health, you're a terrible fucking person, and I don't think you're doing that. So, you know, I'm not saying you are. But I'm saying those people are. That's a problem. And there are lots of those people out there. I mean, it's very literally watch Fox News. There are tons of people who go on there and are actually telling people that they're stupid or idiots for getting vaccinated. Meanwhile, every one of the major Fox News hosts has been vaccinated, which is so telling. Anyway, you're not getting one now or in the future. Okay. I mean, if we're being honest about it, I don't know what's coming or what's going to happen, but I really wouldn't be surprised if I don't think it's going to be every place, but I wouldn't be surprised if that means that you won't be able to take flights, or you know, there may be travel or establishments that just aren't letting people in if they're not vaccinated. I'm not saying that's a good thing or the right way to handle it. I'm not getting into that discussion, but I have a feeling at a certain point, a lot of people who aren't getting vaccines now might whether they want to or not, are probably going to get pressured toward it. And we'll see. I'm not saying that that's the right way to handle it. I'm just saying it could happen. And I'm just acknowledging that that is a possibility. Let's see. Going back up because I kind of skipped over a couple of other things. Austin. See, my county looks like it's doing really good, but it's mostly government and military employees that can get vaccines. Yeah, that is one thing. Military within a given state always gets the vaccines first. And so if a state has a high percentage of military, they're definitely getting their access way ahead of everybody else. And it has shifted the numbers. Counter to that, I'm in Oregon where we have like no military stationed here. And at the same time, we're one of the last ones to open up for general availability, and we're having terrible rollout even then. It's a very weird situation to be in because it doesn't make any sense that we're having tons of vaccine hesitancy here. I think it's more of an age thing, if I'm being honest. But we're having a ton of vaccine hesitancy here. Meanwhile, it took a really long time to open up. That shouldn't make sense. But I think it does, again, because I think it's age group where the hesitancy is really, really super high among younger ages, or at least like 40 and under. The 5G jokes. Just remember, it started in Europe. Anyway, but yeah, it is weird how each state has been rolling out, sometimes in odd ways. Let's see. So Austin, you got your shot on Sunday, but only because you got priority due to the job. Family still can't book anywhere, and they stopped taking walk-ins at the mass sites. Huh. I mean, I'm not surprised about the family not being able to get one anywhere, but at the same time, I'm surprised. Like, I would think they could at least book their vaccinations. Maybe it might be weeks out, but I would have thought they'd at least be able to get on the books. You're excited to get the mRNA vaccine. Such a cool technology that you didn't expect for at least 10 more years. Okay, on that point, I will say this, and this is where I can totally get B. Slideman's position. I kind of wonder if maybe they did rush a little too much on mRNA. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. It seems to be a pretty effective tool, but at the same time, there have been enough acknowledged instances of weird and severe side effects. Like, a few people have woken up with temporary paralysis and things like that. It's not widespread. It's not enough that this is a thing you should worry about, but it's enough that it should, in my perspective, it's enough that it raises questions about, is mRNA necessarily triggering things that it shouldn't be? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's a bad technology. I'm not saying it's something to be afraid of, but I think they're finding those growing pains with mRNA right now. But again, I don't know enough about it. You know, obviously a hell of a lot more about it than I do. So, it's a thing that I think we're gonna hear a lot about over the next few years, and we would not have otherwise heard about it for, well, like you said, probably 10 more years, if not for COVID. So. yeah, interesting path for things to travel. Let's see. Anyway, so didn't mean to actually sit on that screen forever. Oops. Or transition into that as I... Okay, I've got that set. And... Oh. Am I going to be able to fix this? Yeah, kind of. Okay. Slightly adjusting the screen so that the green screen at least covers everything like it's supposed to. Beside him, you just want the pandemic to be over so the cost of ammo comes back down. Okay, look, I don't mean this in any hostile way. I'm just taking the humor of this. But I don't think I don't know that I've ever actually heard a more Fox News type of comment. Like I said, that is not me hating on you. I'm not trying to. There's no picking of a fight there, but it just has that very like written by somebody who's an active Fox News commenter kind of thing. Nothing but love, man. Just finding humor in it. Oh yeah, question about Google Messages look on Samsung. Yeah, actually, that is an interesting question because I know you, if I remember, you hated the look of the app, but you also were not happy about lacking features. So, huge step towards getting people like you to switch. But it's still missing a lot of the features that you use and care about, right? I mean, it's not like just changing the look so it fits in more with Samsung's aesthetic, I would think isn't enough to motivate you. It's enough to take away one barrier, but if you're using a lot of the features, I'm assuming that just kind of invalidates it pretty quickly. Okay, really quick, let's get the right... Where is my browser window? Where is my browser window? There it is. Wait. Okay, that's on the right thing. But I wanted to pull up AP Samsung Google Messages. Is this... Nope, that's not the right one. Where the hell's our post? Here it is. That's one. Yeah, that's the right one. Yeah, which honestly, I don't feel like this look alone is enough that it would yes, liberal and moderate gun owners don't exist. That's not at all true. There, believe me. And I'm sure you're being sarcastic there, but yeah, there are more than enough of gun owners in every political belief structure. It's more that it's a specific quote about ammo prices that is what I'm acknowledging is kind of funny. Anyway, yeah, it still needs a few features, but the main issue is RCS. You'll have RCS with more people using Samsung Messages. Yeah, that is good. It'll be interesting to see. Okay, I don't know if Google and Samsung ever linked up their RCS servers. Because unless I'm mistaken, the only thing stopping your messages from, let's say, Samsung messages from going to somebody who's using Google messages, the only thing stopping that would be just which RCS server they're on, not what app they're using. So I'm assuming this should be fine either way, but I don't know if Samsung and Google ever linked up. Anyway, I will give credit. It is a interesting and kind of neat move that Google is at least trying to line up well with Samsung's aesthetic. I wonder if it's not like there are a ton of other companies out there for Google to really focus on. You believe your RCS is carrier based? Wait, what are you on again? I actually don't remember. Because I think the was it Verizon that's, I think, the only one left that's still carrier based? Maybe it was Verizon and AT&T. I actually don't remember now. Okay. AT&T probably still is. Interesting. Out of curiosity. Wow, 66 comments on that. So, kind of on a tangent from RCS, because I already had this open and there's no way not to talk about it. But the most recent email leak out of Apple, sort of leak, a side effect of the Epic lawsuit. We now have a conversation between Eddie Q and Craig Federighi that is just, it's golden. Like it is such a golden quote. So Q's comment, Eddie Q, quote, "We really need to bring iMessage to Android. I've had a couple of people investigating this, but we should go full speed and make this an official project. Do we want to lose one of the most important apps in a mobile environment to Google? They have search, mail, free video, and growing quickly in browsers. We have the best messaging app and we should make it the industry standard. I don't know what ways we can monetize it, but it doesn't cost us a lot to run." So I find it interesting that here's Apple. We've got one guy who is very in favor of getting iMessage out to Android. And of course, this was, ballparking it, could have been 7 or 8 years ago. And then Craig Federighi's response, basically, do you have any thoughts on how we would make switching to iMessage from WhatsApp compelling to masses of Android users who don't have a bunch of iOS friends? iMessage is a nice app or service, but to get users to switch social networks, we need more than a marginally better app. This is why Google is willing to pay $1 billion for a network, not for the app. In the absence of a strategy to become the primary messaging service for the bulk of cell phone users, I'm concerned that iMessage on Android would simply serve to remove an obstacle to iPhone families giving their kids Android phones. It's interesting to me, the strategy approach that's happening here. Funny enough, in a normal world situation, I would look at Eddie Q and I would say, this is the guy who's forward thinking. He recognizes that owning the future of messaging is the right move. And then I look at Craig Federighi and I think you're giving up long-term success for short-term gains. And when I say that's normally what I would say, it would normally be my viewpoint on this. However, in this instance, I think Craig Federighi was exactly dead on. It's not that I think very highly of iMessage, but the dude was right. That is the one thing I just keep hearing iPhone users say stops them from switching to Android. It's because they don't want to give up iMessage. And it's insane. I don't think that should be a good reason, but it sure as hell works for people. Okay, just realized real quick I wanted to check something on my phone. But, yeah, anyway. They pulled a Google and got dumb lucky. That's probably exactly it. I don't think that this is an example of Apple reading the future. I think this is an example of Apple getting obscenely lucky and just happening to get it exactly right. It doesn't happen that often, that easily, but every once in a while it does happen. And in this instance, man, they nailed it in the craziest, luckiest way. They just absolutely tossed a dart across the air and it happened to nail the bullseye. You don't get this lucky that often, but they did. Let's see. Anyway, so all that being said, I really do wonder what the future holds at this point, because I think Apple's advantage is quickly waning. This can't last for too much longer, like a couple more years max, but at a certain point RCS is becoming too important and will become widespread. Whether or not people use it or like it or acknowledge it, it's getting close to being a thing. So I think we're gonna get there. And when that happens, I foresee iMessage becoming the not the loser, but I think it's going to start becoming less of an advantage for Apple to still keep it exclusive. Which kind of does, the more I think about it, it kind of does make sense that if Apple sees RCS as a realistic contender, at that point, it would be very smart for them to give in and just release iMessage for Android. I don't know if they'll get there, but it seems like the right choice if they actually want to own that platform, if they want to own messaging the way that they say they do. But yeah, anyway, so there was that. We can kill those. And then I don't have a lot to say on this. There's really so little to say on this, but I figured I'd give a quick nod to the Stadia news. So for anyone who wasn't paying attention, Stadia is going to have a search bar, and they're going to have sorting, filtering kind of stuff going on for their for the games that you own. So wait, where was that? Thought that was up here, but I guess, oh, there it is. Yeah. So yeah, you'll be able to pick a genre and you'll be able to sort it by recently played, I'm assuming alphabetical, probably a few other things. So that's good. It's a proper start. Let's see. You'll be able to wait, where is it? You'll have the activity feed, so you can show off video captures, I'm assuming photos, and people will be able to find it, possibly load state shares, normal little stuff. Beside him, the only thing that stands out, I'm assuming you mean with iMessage, is group messaging. They're really bad on Android. Yes, I mean, I agree. It's something that is automatically bad in old messaging with MMS, basically. It was bad there for obvious reasons. But man, I look at that, and all I can think is every other chat service has group messaging and it works just fine. So yes, MMS, SMS, they do suck, and it's old technology that's driving them. It totally makes sense why they suck. But damn, it's so easy to point to everything else and say, yeah, iMessage doesn't really win on this, outside of the fact that it's people just decided iMessage should have won. Yeah, anyway. Let's see, on Stadia, what was I thinking? Man, temperature in this room has picked up a lot. Anyway, with Stadia, yeah, so state share, and what was this one? Oh, you'll be able to access Stadia directly through an Android web browser rather than opening the Stadia app. Meh, don't care. It's good, I'm sure, that they're doing that, but just don't care. It seems exactly like what they already have for iOS and everywhere else, where they want you to use a web browser. Here, they want you to use the app, but hey, if you don't use the app, who cares? You get the exact same experience. It's kind of what I get out of that news. Oh, weird. I am just suddenly dying in here. Hold on a second. Oh, that was... something fell down. Okay. That's back up, but hold on one moment. Actually, I will be right back. Give me 2 moments. Okay. I had a mostly green shirt on underneath, and I didn't want to get green screened out thanks to that. Okay. So, let's see. Other topics. Go ahead and fill with other topics. By the way, I have a relatively, not hard out, but I do have to take off about 5-ish, so within about an hour. So I'm just gonna technically declare a 15-minute warning now, and if the topics remain thin, then it may be dropping a little earlier. Expectations for IO. Oh man. As far as the actual announcement, I'm expecting it to I'm expecting them to not do anything that resembles like an actual stage show. I think it's going to kind of come in the form of short videos, lots of relatively quickly cut together stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they do something kind of similar to Apple's keynote, where it's a series of segments kind of chopped together, but I don't think it's gonna feel as seamless as that. Not to say that that's seamless. Honestly, I don't like the way Apple is doing keynotes post COVID, but yeah, I feel like Google is probably going to, they're probably gonna do a few segments that get cut together for like their biggest announcements. It's still early days. Not sure context, but yeah, I don't know. It's a weird hunch, but I do feel like Google is probably gonna end up chopping together a few segments to do sort of their top level announcements, and then it'll quickly just trail off. So if their primary video is anything over even half an hour, I'd be a little surprised. But you never know. Maybe they have a ton of announcements and they're just deciding, look, we got to do a big one. There's no better way to do it. You never know. That being said, I'm really, really kind of hoping that it's just straight up like, hey, we have 5 things we really care about announcing. We're going to get through them real quick. Here's this. Oh, and there are these other 2 things. Cool. Thanks. Now watch the 1,000 other videos that we're going to post over the next 2 to 3 days, all of which were recorded over the last 2 or 3 months. We'll see if they do that, but I have a funny feeling it's not going to be all that different. As far as what they'll be announcing, let's see. We're basically anticipating, what is it? The 5A is probably going to be a Google announcement or I/O announcement. We're likely expecting. What else are we expecting? I think it's too early for Pixel Watch, though. You never know. Maybe. Assuming that's real. Oh, what else do we have? Oh, man. I'm drawing a blank. Also, sudden stretch that I couldn't resist. Yeah, this chair has also been killing my back lately, but separate topic. Okay. What else is there? Slow news week? Yeah, it kind of has been. I mean, we're in that stage of the year. We have been anyway. It's not like this is a new thing, but yeah, we're in that stage of the year where everything is just about to happen, but nothing's happening right now. So we're going to see probably up until I/O, we're probably going to get pretty quiet weeks, which, yeah, means I may have to get inventive about what I'm going to talk about on here. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Though I may have some other ideas on what to do during the show that when topics go dry, but we'll get there. Hopefully, we'll get there. Okay, what got posted in general? Windows 10 version 21H1 is officially the May 2021 update. Arrives in release preview. Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, Name a Windows update that didn't break everything. Okay, and okay. I had seen something got posted, but I didn't recognize, or I didn't realize what earlier. So yeah, that's the RCS Advanced Message Carrier Support. And who is still pushing it? I see. Okay, anyway. What else do we have? I guess just to give the quick commentary on the Stadia stuff, which I mentioned earlier. There may have been a headline about this that said basically like, why wasn't this stuff here on day one? I kind of agree with people who've been critical of that headline. None of this stuff needed to be here on day one. Sorting and ordering apps based on a couple of criteria, being able to limit which apps were shown because you, let's say, bought all of them. I'm sure people would have wanted it, but it doesn't seem necessary. So, I'm okay with the fact that this stuff came out later. I do think it came out too late. Google really should have had these features in there much sooner. People who wrote add-ons were able to implement this stuff before Google could. So, this is one of those places where Google took too long to add these features, but now that they're here, it's easy enough to look at them and say, yeah, it's late, but it's not that late. It's not like anyone is immediately dying because their game library on Stadia was too big. And I know, saying that, there is that one guy who bought literally every game. Come on. That's unique. Oh, man. My lack of sleep, I think, is catching up to me, though. Do we have... Okay, no, we don't. Wanted to double check. Huh. Okay. Sorry. Just peeking at a couple places where I might have gotten quick inspiration for a conversation or two. Nope. Okay. Just wanted to take a quick look. Man. I for real, I'm actually starting to sweat in here already. Like, I took off the sweater. I don't have any blankets or anything else like that on top of me, and it has gotten so hot in here. I may have to do something about this room this summer. I'm not sure why it's so warm. I'm feeling the surface of the laptop, and I mean, it's definitely warm because it's running OBS, but it doesn't feel like blazing hot. So I don't think it's that. This also slightly makes me nervous because I know if it gets too warm, it doesn't take too long before the laptop can sometimes core dump. Okay, well, there are a few processes running maybe a little hotter than they should be, but this is not bad. It's about where I expect. Politics. Oh, David Lama, maybe you missed, but yeah, we already did some talking about politics. The crazy lady who, oh, Okay, I have one I do want to quickly rant about, but yeah, the crazy lady in Florida who decided to ban teachers because they got vaccinated. That's one that just makes me have to laugh. Okay, so did you guys? I assume people noticed that I posted a few things to the politics channel. It was 3 tweets that really stood out. This girl named Laura Italiano, which honestly, when I read that, I feel like that's a pen name. Like that doesn't seem like your real name. Anyway, so this girl Laura, she was a writer for the New York Post, and she just handed in her resignation yesterday because apparently the Kamala Harris story that she had written, which included a bunch of falsehoods, she didn't push back hard enough against it, and this made her feel bad. Now, for backstory, she did, like, a lot of people called out the truth of the post and basically, like, debunked everything that was said in there. And it did get a lot of attention because it was pretty much a blatant attempt at a hit job. So now naturally, she's leaving the Post. Honestly, she says that she says that this was her breaking point and she decided to leave. Some small part of me wonders if this was more of sort of the mercy killing moment where the Post decided, no, we're letting you go because this story exploded and looks bad on us, so the only way we have to fix it is by having you go away. You can either resign and, you know, kind of spin it your own way, or you can get fired. I'm assuming if that's how things played out, then she obviously resigned and decided to play her own game of self-indulgence or self-congratulations. Sorry, that's the word I'm going for. Anyway, I just so much love the response that somebody gave to her, basically saying, look, you lied, you got caught, tons of people bought into your stuff, and I don't think this guy said it, but somebody else had basically said, look, you did all this stuff and you didn't deserve, and you don't deserve now to be getting credit. Like, nobody should be crediting you for doing the right thing way too late. Why would the Post approve this story in the first place? According to her, she was ordered to write this story. Now, whether or not that's true, who knows? The Post denied it, or I believe they did. To put it kindly, anyone who's read the Post, you already know what you expect there. I mean, we're talking about a site that a few weeks ago, when the Johnson & Johnson vaccine had a few blood clots, they completely misrepresented what had happened and wrote an article that was something like the 15 things that'll kill you or have a higher chance of killing you than the J&J vaccine, something like that. And it was such a complete gross misrepresentation of what was going on, why people were concerned, any of that stuff. It's easy to pick out the problem with her complaint and what she's saying happened. Okay, so question, do I have the search bar on Stadia? I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't see one. Not unless it's hidden behind some other feature that I'm just not I haven't thought about or considered. But I don't see anything at all. It looks all pretty straightforward.
Oh, you just got it. Interesting. Well, let's see. What happens if I force refresh? I don't think anything will change, but, you know, just in the offhand chance. Nope. I don't see anything. Okay, just in case. My cat just started meowing at me. Hold on a sec while I let her out. Okay, man. Okay, so it was not just me thinking it. It is way warmer in here. I don't know why. This room is just so much warmer than it normally should be. Let's see, 172 games on Stadia according to The Verge. Not bad. I wonder if AP still maintains a list of all the Stadia games. I kind of doubt it, but maybe we do. AP, all the games on Stadia? All the games on Google Stadia. Indeed. Has not been updated since March 16th. Okay, yeah. So, probably missing a few. Oh, David Lama. Harsh. Wait a second. Okay, so show 10 entries. I feel like that I mean, I'm not counting, but this looks like more than 10. Right here. I'm pretty sure that's more than 10 entries. But okay. Good drop down box. You're useful. Yeah, okay, you've got to change it first, but still. That's a little dumb. Okay, but let's see, with 10 entries we have 21 pages of 10 entries apiece. Oh, it even says 205 entries. Though I bet that's because you end up with things like well, Borderlands is probably going to be here. No. Here. Oh, no. I was thinking it'd be because there was multiple editions of games, but I guess not. This is actually the stuff that's correct. Also, holy crap, what is up with this blue text on a grayish background? That is literally unreadable. I can't even make out the words in there except for title. Anyway, some of the games on that list oh yeah, Good point. Including Baldur's Gate, that's literally at the very top of that list. Though that is technically out, so. If you hate yourself enough to play it, you can. Anyway. Yeah, this room. I walk in here and it just instantly hits me with heat. This 100% explains why I'm feeling so tired, because sitting in a warm room it absolutely kills me. It drains me to nothing. Years ago, I had this contracting job in a crappy part of Oregon. It was doing a crappy contracting job. It was not worthwhile for my time or anything, but it paid okay. Pretty good, all things considered. Anyway, holy crap. It was on the second floor of this industrial building, and it had no cooling. No real cooling, at least. So, oh my god, you would sit in there, and even with a fan pointed at you, it just got so warm. I would sit there in the afternoons, and I think I could sit there for like 10 minutes before I just started falling asleep in that office. Which also, because it was a manufacturing facility, super illegal to sleep in that office. Apparently that could have and probably should have gotten me fired. But they needed someone who was willing to work, and I think I was the only person willing to take that job. So, so it goes. Yeah, I assume it is the MacBook, but well, probably combination of the MacBook and, well, yeah, I guess I don't have the Chromecast run. Oh, you know what? Actually, the Chromecast might be plugged in. Even so, that's not producing a ton of heat. Not enough to make a difference. I'm sure it's just having the MacBook on and streaming, but the MacBook is surprisingly not overheating. As I run my fingers along the hottest part, it's warm, but I would have expected by now for overheating of some kind. Anyway, yeah, I'm not sure how much longer I can sit in this. I'm kind of thinking about chopping right around now, because there's not much in the way of topics, and I'm having trouble focusing. But yeah, the slow news week doesn't help. It really doesn't. It's fun to call out that. Honestly, I really had to call out that Samsung ad. It gets me that they did an hour-long ad for their phones, which is going to be a series. I mean, it's a competition series, but doing an hour-long episode to market their phones, and they're not doing much phone marketing. It feels like they just did not try that hard to really push the phone. They just wanted to try to make a show, and unfortunately the show is not it's not great. It's just not great. We're gonna go there. It could do a lot better. But yeah, let's see, is there anything else before I go? So not. Yeah, by the way, earlier Austin mentioned having a really bad delay. I'm seeing it big time. I switched scenes, and it's taking like about 10 seconds round trip before I actually see a video showing me switching scenes. Anyway, let's see. So this week, what am I working on this week? Hopefully, if all goes well in the next day or two, the DJI FPV review should be going up. I mean, worst case scenario, it'll go up this weekend, but if it takes until this weekend, I'm not super happy. Because it's been taking way too long to get up already. Let's see. I've already mentioned this before, obviously, but I'm going to be working on the review for this microphone. So yeah, that'll be happening. Let's see what else. Oh, I have the DJI Air 2S. I'm going to be taking that out to fly, which that's part of actually why I'm taking off in right now-ish, because I want to get outside and actually put that thing in the air and get some footage with it, which I may already have a little bit of a limitation on, but we'll see. Did the Pixel case come in? As a matter of fact, it did. I haven't put it on the phone yet, but I could go grab it in just a second. Let's see. Oh, and then I can't talk about what it is, but I've known about it for the last week. Just agreed to review it today. There's a product that's going to be on its way to me shortly, which in all seriousness, I've actually had on my other screen, I've had my email window open so that I could respond to the PR agent as soon as possible, because an NDA needs to be signed, and there's a problem with the NDA that they sent me. Not legal problem, a technical problem. I'm trying to sign it and I can't, so I've been waiting for that to come in, and I was hoping it would come in during the podcast and I could just knock it out now, but it hasn't happened yet. Anyway, the life of a reviewer, waiting to sign an NDA. But yeah, so I don't think I can give the date, but somewhere in the not too distant future, that product is going to be announced, and there is a pretty strict let's get the review done for that product on the day that it gets announced. So I'm going to have, let's see, let's actually look at the calendar here. I have just under just about 2 weeks. Yeah, it's 2 weeks-ish. And the product hasn't actually been sent to me yet. So there's basically no chance I'm going to get it until next week. So I'm going to be rushing really hard to get that review done, edited, and published on the day that the product gets announced. That ought to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. I always love rushing a product review. But it shouldn't be too hard as long as it gets sent to me quickly. Is it a reputable company? Yes, it is. I feel comfortable saying that. Granted, the PR person I'm working with sometimes does not feel like the most. It's not that this PR person has ever asked me to do anything wrong. They've never pushed me to say anything, but just the way the conversations happen, they feel like they're fishy. And I will be full honesty here. I think they feel fishy only because her English does not seem great. But it bounces between being good and bad in the weirdest ways. So sometimes when she writes to me, she uses certain phrases wrong. And then other times she writes and she uses what would be way more complicated phrases. and she uses them perfectly. So it's confusing, and it almost, like, if I didn't know better, I would almost think it was a bot, but it's obviously not a bot. So yeah, it's just been very confusing. She is also a somewhat aggressive PR person, so yeah, there are times that it feels fishy working with her, but she's never asked me to do anything wrong or uncouth. It's just hard to tell sometimes. Don't many companies outsource PR? Yes and no and maybe. I know that's a weird thing to say. So some companies handle their own PR just entirely in-house. Some companies handle PR entirely by outsourcing it. Some companies, it depends on the product. Like, for one product, they will outsource it. Another product, they handle it all inside. There are some companies that kind of experiment with outsourcing and then decide they don't like doing it. Yeah, it just really varies by company. I mean, I don't want to name which company for a very specific reason, but there was one company I've worked with in the past. A large number of employees, like a surprising number of employees, but their PR was handled by the CEO. The CEO of the company was the person who emailed me their PRs and would set up review units and stuff like that. They had people. They had plenty of people, like lots of people working there. Why he was doing this, I cannot explain. It makes no sense to me. If there was ever something that should be not even not outsourced, but it should just be delegated to another employee, it was that stuff. It was the basics, and this guy was doing it. It's like cheers, I'm happy to be talking to you instead of somebody else, but man, this just feels weird. I don't expect you're the person I would normally be talking with on this stuff. Anyway, let's see, but yeah, when it comes down to it, and this particular company, honestly, I'm actually really confused by what they're doing, because I have been contacted by not just 3 different PR people representing this company. I've actually been contacted by PR people representing this company about the same product. Sorry, let me rephrase. There was a particular product coming up, and multiple people from representing this company contacted me separately, and they don't know each other. That was confusing to me. I literally had to tell one of them, such and such person already contacted me and we worked out a review unit. And the other person's like, oh, okay, I don't know who that is, but that's good. You're already set up. So great. Can we take care of this other thing too? And that was very confusing to me. So I think this company does outsource, and they handle their own PR on the inside, which that's new to me. I didn't expect that. And actually, technically, no joke, I was actually contacted by 3 people about that product, but one of them was definitely outsourced and just like, hey, here's a press release, please post about it, which we weren't gonna do. But yeah, really unusual stuff like this does happen. Anyway, so review time. Looking forward to it. But in all seriousness, on the plus side, what this likely means is I'm going to spend a good portion of the next 2 weeks outside, probably doing a lot of hiking, hopefully, probably just like going and venturing out. That'll be a lot nicer, I think. I hope. And during night, and if there is any bad weather, then that's when I'll be doing most of my writing, I imagine. By the way, that will serve as a heads up. I can't necessarily promise that I'll be doing game streams as much over the next 2 weeks, because I have a lot of review work to do, and I don't necessarily know, but I may try to meet up with some people, and depending on what their schedules are, I may use weekends for it. I don't know yet. There's a lot of uncertainty on this, as you could easily guess, I'm sure. Let's see, what else is there? I'm trying to think if there were any other interesting updates or changes, but I'm drawing a blank on them. But as usual, I know that this is the weirdest thing, but I just, like I've said it before, I always fiddle with stuff when I'm sitting here talking. And the tripod that came with the vlogger kit that had this microphone in it, I can't stop fiddling with this when I'm in here. There's something about this tripod. I can't explain it, but the feet are just that perfect size that it's very grippable. I just keep unscrewing the base of it, stretching out the legs on it. Can I show the Pixel 4 case? Sure. It's in the other room. Let me go get it real quick. Okay. Situated on this chair again, because this chair is uncomfortable as hell. Okay, so kind of an unboxing, I guess, in so much as you get an unboxing of a case. But here's the case. Orient myself correctly. It pops open book style. They actually include, I was surprised by this, leather conditioner. Cool. I did not even consider it, but that kind of makes sense. The case is a pretty dense box, so that's a thing. Case comes out easily. It's not stuck in or anything. Back of it is, of course, Horween leather, so it should age and patina really nicely. It'll obviously do its whole like leather scratches kind of thing. Case also feels pretty rigid. Anyway, so popping the phone into the case. Did I already have a case before? Yes, I had the Moment case on here, the black canvas Moment case. The problem was so I think I lost the case just last week okay, so kind of a story. After I went and got my COVID shot, I went out to a location and took some photos. Actually, really quick, I haven't even looked at these yet. I keep forgetting to. So I'm going to plug in my camera and maybe pop open and see if there are any notable, interesting photos out of the batch. But I went to go take photos, and at a certain point, almost immediately, I took the case off of the Pixel 4 XL, and when I did that, ooh, that's weird. The camera switch was on, but the camera was off. But as soon as I plugged in power, it just came on, and it says it's got 80-some% battery life, so I do not know what's going on there. Anyway, so I took the case off of the phone, put it in my back pocket, and I clearly remember getting back in my car. And I took the case and I tossed it on the passenger seat. That's the last time I clearly remember having it. So I think what may have happened is at some point when I had to open the passenger door later, I'm thinking I may have accidentally like dropped the case on the ground, or it might have gotten knocked out of the passenger seat or something. So there is an outside chance that maybe the case is just buried under the seat. But I looked around in the car pretty carefully. I looked between the seat and like the center console and everything else. I didn't see anything. So I could have searched a little harder. I mean, like actually just hand stuffed under the passenger seat, digging around for it, and maybe there's some chance that I would have found it, but otherwise I think it's lost, which sucks, but hey, so it goes. Anyway, I wanted to find a case for the phone because I'm still going to be using this phone for a while. I wanted a case that had moment lens mounts, which this particular one does, and I've wanted to try Nomad cases for a while. So it was kind of a given, like, here's that opportunity, because Nomad did make this one-off case for the Pixel 4 XL. They haven't done it for the 5. It has moment lens mounts, which, you know, yay, that's of course. I picked up the wrong thing. Do I have any? I mean, I think I can use this. Do I use moment lenses often? The answer to that is a little bit of a yes and a no. Effectively, the answer is no. I don't use them too terribly often, but I do use them. And there's a project I want to do with them in the near future that is going to kind of require using them. So anyway, there's somewhat ironically not actually a moment lens. These are ND an ND filter and a circular polarizer stuck on this. I meant to grab a lens, but the bag I grabbed up had the filters instead. Anyway, so yeah, it has the mounting system. That's what was important. And I have a funny feeling that this didn't work out super well for Nomad, because since they didn't make, this is a guess, but since they didn't make any more cases with moment lens mounts after the Pixel 4 line, my guess is that they didn't decide to continue doing it in the subsequent year. We'll see. Maybe they'll start doing it again with the Pixel 6 or something. But I'm guessing this was a one-off, which is sad because this feels good. The leather is a little slipperier than I would have expected, but not by much. And I'm sure that after it gets used a little bit, that'll kind of balance out. The case looks pretty nice. I mean, you know, nice brown leather. It has the point where the leather meets the rubber that goes around the phone honestly does not even look like there's it looks like the leather becomes the rubber. It doesn't, there's not like a, I mean, there is a seam, but it doesn't look, it kind of looks like almost like maybe it was glued or somehow steam pressed or something into the rubber. It's really interesting. They have there's no way this, oh wait, maybe this actually does kind of show up. So the power button right here is textured, and then the volume buttons are soft or smooth. Curvy Mermaid, Pixel 6 XL needs a triple camera setup. No more pussyfooting around. I mean, I agree. I think they should, but I still hold to the belief pretty strongly that if Google does not have to compete at the flagship level, at like the top tier level, I'm not sure that they can. Like, Samsung owns that market so well. Unless Google's chips start coming out and like the Whitechapel chips absolutely blow away other competitors, and seeing as how Samsung's going to be, Samsung's a partner of Google on the Whitechapel chip, I have a strong feeling that Samsung's going to be getting an advantage here anyway. My hunch is I don't see how Google beats Samsung at the high end, but Google can win on the mid-range. Maybe not win, but like compete even. They can do more for competition. Maybe they can do top tier too. I'd love them to. I want Google to keep making top tier phones, and I'd like for the phones to actually be top tier. That would also be really important. But yeah, anyway, I'm not sure that they need a 3-camera setup. What matters more is that they've got to upgrade, or they've got to update the image sensor, and ideally give us something crazy like a larger image sensor. Give us maybe, I don't know, give us a zoom feature that isn't just software zoom, but actually like physical pieces of glass moving inside of the camera so that you can zoom in optically. Give us a quad Bayer sensor. That I know I mention this all the time. I'm becoming a broken record on this, but give us things that other companies haven't done yet. That's what I want to see Google doing with their cameras. Like, if you're gonna change cameras, if you're gonna do anything with cameras, it's got to be big stuff. Yes, throwing in another camera is a good thing, but if you leave it on an old sensor on the main shooter, and on the other 2 cameras you're putting in just so cameras, you're not getting anywhere. It's just another one of the exact same setups every other company has already done. Why bother? If Google wants to impress me, give me better things. Make the things that you have better, and if you can add more things, do that too. But I need to see better with the things that are there. Which I would also argue better price per storage, better storage options would be good. Let's have a better screen. You know, give me those types of improvements. Anyway, for anyone who's curious, I gotta say the buttons feel pretty good on this case. here's something I think I'm actually really happy about. Yes. Okay, this is such a small thing, but on the bottom of the case for the speaker and microphone holes, this is going to sound like such a small issue, but depending on how you hold your phone, these cutouts are actually really, I mean, they're not perfectly smooth or anything, but they don't have sharp edges, or they're not sharp like on the exposed edge. The reason this matters is because I hold my phone like this all the time, not with my fingers quite splayed out this way, it's more like this, but I have the load-bearing pinky, and the load-bearing pinky gets scraped hard by these cutouts. So this isn't perfect, but it's better than the Moment case that I had on it. It's a little better. It's a little softer. It's not going to weigh as heavily on that, or I mean, it'll weigh about as much on that finger, but it's not going to scrape at the skin. And I actually sometimes can get a little bit of a callus on there just from holding the phone. See, Solana, you hold it the same way. I'm sure most people, well, I don't want to, maybe not most people, but I'm sure a lot of people do. It's just one of those things. It's hard not to do it. Oh, hey, just saw a news post that Cyberpunk 2077 just got its 3rd update in a month. Why is it I have a funny feeling it doesn't include anything anyone gives a crap about? Yeah, exactly. Holding a phone this way is better for bigger phones, for sure. You just kind of have to keep them... You kind of have to keep them stable within the confines of the load-bearing pinky. Okay, so... All right. Yeah, just a quick glimpse at this Cyberpunk update. It is totally not important. Okay, and here's also... I know that this is going into random odd side news, but I just now saw an article titled "You Creator." You is in that show that's kind of like Dexter, but not Dexter. You Creator says season 3 episodes are fucking bonkers. Good. I've been looking forward to that show coming back. Yeah. So you've been seeing hot fixes every few weeks. Just not interesting anymore. Exactly. Like, I have no reason to go back and play with Cyberpunk until there's more story to play with. Sure, I could go back and kind of redo a few bits so I could get the alternate endings, but aside from that, I can't care. I need more content to do before... I need storyline. I need places to go, things to shoot. Until that happens, Cyberpunk, it just doesn't matter anymore. What the hell is this? Okay, sorry. This is one of those stupid moments where I saw a random thing. It's claiming to be... Okay, we'll just do that. It's claiming to be some sort of a smart tripod plate that is... Oh, I see what it does. It's not that great. It's a plate that you can attach a camera to, or you can twist it, or not twist it, but you can raise up a part of it and put a smartphone in instead of the camera. It's actually not that great of an idea. Anyway, oh, did I do the Google Pay quiz? Okay, so I've actually already finished the Google Pay challenge. I got my $30 out of it. But in point of fact, I did also do the quiz. Just because. Like, I got a notification reminding me to go into Google Pay. And so I did the quiz, and I guessed the answer. And I got it right. And it was a pure guess. It was absolute luck of the draw. But it worked, so... It was what? Grover Cleveland, I think? If I remember correctly. Whoever's birthday was not in April, as I recall. Yep, okay. Yeah, I figured. But, you know, always hard to remember for sure. Yeah, the Google Pay stickers. Oh, hey, actually, I still have that even up on my screen. So, I've gotten... Wait, am I showing anything? No, it's okay. So, I've gotten the Robin and the Crocodile... or 3 extra copies of the Robin and Crocodile. And only a single copy of each of the other stickers. So... if anyone should need them, I can send them, but... yeah, these are the commons, so I doubt anyone really needs those so much. One thing though, for anyone who is still working on the stickers and you want to play your luck, the odds are very low, but if you want to try your luck at getting some free stickers and maybe getting one of the rares, the trick is, or a good trick, is look for your duplicates and then just send those to other people. Obviously organize with those people, but if you every time you send a sticker to somebody new, or I think there's a limit on this, like 5 per day or something. Anyway, if you send one of the stamps, if you send one of the stamps to somebody that you haven't sent a stamp before, then yeah, the fox and the elk are the rarest. Yeah, I mentioned that in the article I wrote. But yeah, if you send the stamps to somebody, the first 5, I think, per day that you send out, you also get another stamp just randomly generated. So you're getting a 2.5% chance per rare. Total of 5% that you'll get a rare, and it's presumably split evenly between the fox and the elk. So yeah, you know, if you want to get a few extra stamps, that's the way to do it. Just find random people for doing it, and yeah, like C Soldana said, there's a Reddit thread for this, or I'm assuming that's how you meant it. It's you know, may as well do it. It's either that or go on and do the cashback offers. I ended up going onto Moose Jaw and doing their cashback offer. So I got a wrist strap thing from... Why am I getting that email? Why did I get this email? Just got a notification for... Yeah, I should not have gotten this. That's stupid. But okay, whatever. Anyway, I got a wrist strap from Peak Design, which is whatever. And I got a... Let's see. Okay, I don't have my bag in here, but I've got a Peak Design bag too. Anyway, I ordered their smaller version of the same bag. It's not the same color, but they don't make my color anymore. But yeah, so combined, I spent basically as much as I was earning out of this whole challenge. So, but hey, I'm getting free stuff out of it. Even if I'm not really getting the money, I'm getting free stuff. So it's something, you know, might as well make a few bucks, or not make a few bucks, but might as well get something free, even if you're not actually getting the money value per se. But it's something. So yeah, that's how I ended up finishing it. And since they extended it, I get the impression that they did not get the numbers that they were hoping for. I think that's safe to say. When I first wrote the article about this, I was pointing out, hey, you know, just a fair warning, they're only going to be sending out, I think it's 20,000 prizes. I'm not sure that's the right number. Maybe it was 200,000 or 400,000, whatever. It's a number, and there's more than 3 of them. But yeah, the total number of prizes that they're sending out, I was kind of implying like, hey, you know, there are probably going to be people who hit this pretty fast and pretty hard. You maybe, if you care, you should just do it quickly. Obviously not a problem. They did not hit capacity, and in fact needed to extend it so more people would actually finish it. And they raised the stakes. You can now get more for referring people. So yeah, I think it didn't work out super well. But hey, that's fine. I don't care. Let's see. So any other notes or thoughts about the Nomad case? The only thing I think that stands out, and it's a really small detail, but the bottom lip of the case comes up over obviously the bottom of the phone, and it sticks up just the tiniest fraction more than I'm used to. I think it's still actually lower than most people are used to, so it's probably great. But I gotta admit, the case that I have on my Pixel 2 XL, it is possibly my favorite because I don't know if this will show up in camera at all. Probably not. Oh yeah, okay. It shows up right at this angle pretty well. Anyway, the lip actually comes down all the way. There's just no case right here. There is on the back edge, but yeah, so it leaves this just perfectly smooth. Nothing in the way, just glass right there all the way down to the bottom edge. And I don't know, I've gotten spoiled by it. It's a tiny thing, it's the tiniest of things, but I like it. But I'll probably get used to the Nomad case within no time, so I'm not too worried. Button reaction seems good. Not perfect, but good enough. Down volume is maybe a little harder to press. Yeah. Not bad. So far I think I like the case. We'll see how I feel about it shortly. There's the tiniest amount of unevenness to the leather. Yeah. Nothing like this is a thing you're only going to see if you're shining the light across it perfectly, but hey David, take it easy, man. Good luck with the move. As it turns out, I think I'm getting off here in a minute too, because for obvious reasons, it's like I've more than extended what I kind of thought I'd be able to do in this heat because this room is now just roasting. Let's see. Anyway, yeah, so take it easy. I guess if you're moving this weekend, I probably won't see you during game streams, assuming I do game stream. Or may do photo edits, possibly. We'll see. But yeah, anyway, take it easy. Good luck with the move, and I'll catch you, I guess, probably next week. But on that note, I think I'm actually going to say the same to everybody else. I think the heat in here is getting to me. So take it easy, everyone. Hope you all have awesome weeks. Hope you've got something good planned for whatever the next few days bring. As usual, right now I'm still expecting to do game streams this weekend. We'll see what happens. And I'm brain farting as I'm trying to speak. It happens. But yeah, if I figure anything out for sure, I'll try to make announcements in advance. But with that, thanks to everyone for coming by. Thanks for hanging out, being part of the conversation, chatting with me, giving me something to ramble about. We will see you next time. Of course, also, if you'd like to support the channel, hit the links down in the description for Patreon or Streamlabs. It helps out. Let's see. Brain is still farting. I mean, we're talking the longest, like, blabberiest brain fart there can be. I don't know. I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, hope everyone has a awesome night. Take it easy, and I will see you next time. Good night, everybody.